And you touched on a character that I was actually kind of a little bit nervous about, which was Peacemaker, based on John Cena's latest performance in Fast 9, which I thought he was the worst character in that film, and just a lot of stuff that didn't work for me. But I was looking forward to seeing what Peacemaker had to offer, because we got the announcement, which we'll talk about later, about him having his own show. So I'm like, man, James Gunn must have a lot of faith in this character to give him his own spinoff and all that. And I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised by Peacemaker, how much of an asshole he was, but at the same time, fighting for his country by any means necessary. So he was definitely one of my favorite characters. But I really enjoyed the arc that we got to see with him. And we'll talk about it later, but I want to see that round 2 with Peacemaker and Bloodsport. I wouldn't be surprised if Idris Elba is in one of those episodes, which we'll talk about later. I really, really enjoyed his arc and his abilities. And
like I was saying, we're going to talk about that next. I love the interactions that he was having with Peacemaker. I mean, man, when they were infiltrating that army base to get Rick Flag,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, them, what did he say? He shot, and I thought that he missed, but it knocked the radio in the water and shook the dude. I'm like, this is so silly, And then Peacemaker shot behind him. You lose non-lethal, exploding bullets. I'm like, it was funny, but it was silly too, because I'm like, okay, this is so convenient. Y'all should have been caught or seen right now, but I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? And it was just that's just so interesting that you can kind of have that plot hole right there. Like, wait a minute, you guys should have been caught, but you don't care because the performances are just so well. They're just so good. And I was not. I wasn't saying I was not looking forward to this character, but I was on the fence. But this is perfect, man. I loved it. I was just sitting here watching it, just like loving their banter, going back and forth. Just saying, I don't know anything about Peacemaker. This guy looks ridiculous, but so damn cool at the same time. I wouldn't talk no crap to him. I know he'll put me down, and he's so ruthless. And I love he adhered to his code. I mean, I can just tell he believes in peace, but he won't let anything stand in the way. Men, women, or children. Crazy. Eman, how you feel about John Cena as Peacemaker?
No, look, he benefited from James Gunn the most, right? Because James Gunn has experience dealing with the wrestler non-acting types, especially with Dave Bautista. And what made that work so well? Less lines, good writing, but don't overact. And I think that's what hurts John Cena in other films, is the fact that he will overact and sometimes he steps out of his lane. I mean, even in Fast 9, like, he was overacting because the script was not meant for him, in my opinion. It was probably meant for a more dramatic actor, but they wanted to rely on the appearance and stuff. In this movie, they use his appearance. They use a much more simplified version of his acting with really funny lines and script. And that's what works for him for now. Until he develops into a better actor, this is what his lane is, and it works for him. And this was, I mean, I found myself laughing at what he was saying more than what he was doing, throughout this entire film. When he's talking about, like, I use smaller bullets, or just whatever, like little things like that, or the questions when he was in the presentation or the room with Amanda Waller, and he's like, but that's the writing. You know what I'm saying? And it's his delivery and not trying too hard that makes it all work. This is why, again, like I said, in Guardians of the Galaxy, this is why Drax was so funny, because James Gunn knows how to take your strengths, take some good writing, put it together, and make it work. So Peacemaker was dope. I hope this is what we get in the spinoff. And I have to say, I'm very disappointed that HBO or whoever even announced the spinoff, because honestly, it makes the whole post-credit scene at the end like pointless. Like, once I knew the spinoff was happening, the final shot with him, whatever. Like, he has a spinoff. It's not going to be a prequel. So that was the only knock. But that's not the film's fault. That's more of the marketing. But other than that, this is a perfect role for John Cena, and I hope he continues.
Gotcha, Elliot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, John Cena. You know, you can't see this, man. And I was a big wrestler fan growing up, and I kind of exited when he was kind of coming up in his peak. But I think, as Eman just mentioned, I think that James Gunn is definitely the wrestler whisperer, and can bring out the best sensibilities in a Dave Bautista, in a John Cena. And I think so far, I've seen a lot of his films, whether it be Trainwreck or the film he was in with Tina Fey and Amy Palmer, and you know, seeing him in the Fast films and in the Blockers. He's good at being this big, overly sized human being and having some quips. And I think that James Gunn really played on that sensibilities. And what I do know about how James Gunn presents Peacemaker, he's exactly as he describes him, a douchebaggery version of Captain America. And he plays that to the T. And as you guys have mentioned, that whole back and forth between him and Bloodsport throughout the film was some of the best moments. Them just going tit for tat. Again, them slicing and dicing those. I mean, my man had a machete and was stabbed that man like 90 times in the chest and just moved on and had the little he selfie. I'm really looking forward to see what they do with this Peacemaker show and see, is he the hero of the story? Is we're going to see a show about a villain going against a hero? And again, if we see the round 2 with Bloodsport, but you said it, Brandon, that you weren't necessarily not looking forward to him. I wasn't looking forward to Peacemaker because I'm like, John Cena is just not that guy for me, but he really did prove himself in this role for me. I think James Gunn, again, finds the best of these actors that aren't necessarily known for actors. And, man, I'm telling you, Peacemaker was delivering on all fronts. I don't think there was one moment that Peacemaker had in the scene that I'm just like, oh, I don't buy that. Like, I really bought into his role. And, I'm really excited to see what they do with him in this TV show.
Same here, man. And
I do hope, based on the look that Amanda gave them at the end of the movie, again, going back to theories of Peacemaker, I hope, because I know that if I'm not mistaken, John and James Gunn's girlfriend who was in the movie, they're in Peacemaker. So I'm hoping that Amanda Waller is going to have her payback in some way, how, you know, that she's going to get her revenge. But yeah, it was kind of it was convenient that they just were able to knock her out and get her off of like I said, her soapbox. So that was a little bit unfortunate for the character, because again, she's 10 steps ahead of everyone in the room. And for them to be able to easily take her out is kind of just like, oh, how fearing can we be of this character? But again, I'm hoping that she has contingencies to get her revenge on those employees that did her wrong.
I got you. I'm mad at that. I'm not mad at that. And so y'all have any comments about the final credit scene? I know we kind of briefly talked about it earlier with the Peacemaker, but you know, he's awake. You know, he's getting this TV series. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. This article came out July 20th, so about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But I'm because of him, I'm in this. I'm excited. So y'all got any comments on that?
I don't know how the hell he survived that villain falling on him and a bullet to the neck, but hey, it's comic books. We got a big star that I guess, you know, just suspend disbelief that he survived. And to Eman's point, I think what it was supposed to happen, again, not to tie back to Marvel, about like how Black Widow was supposed to come out before Falcon and Winter Soldier, for we could know who you know, that character was at the end. This was just kind of the same thing. Suicide Squad was supposed to come out first, and then we probably were going to get the announcement of Peacemaker, but obviously things kind of, you know, they were shooting the show, and people were like, why is John Cena shooting the show? So they had to, I guess they kind of had to jump in front of that theory train and jump in front of the leaks that they had to put it out there. But besides the way that all kind of played out, I'm really looking forward to the show. Again, I don't know too much about Peacemaker and his rogues gallery. Who is his main foil? Is he a Batman villain? Is he a Superman villain? Is he just a, you know, an obscure villain within the DC universe that he kind of plays in all realms? But I want to see that round 2. I want to see Peacemaker versus Bloodsport. Idris Elba has played on television as The Wire and other TV shows, so he's not too big of a star to be on a TV show, especially if HBO does the MCU thing where they're going to put a big budget in the show. So I think I would love to see a cameo by him. I would love to see Amanda Waller. She sent her employees to get him, so I would imagine she still is going to give command. So I would hope that she makes some type of appearance in the show. But again, what is Peacemaker all about? Is he going to be the main guy? Are we going to be rooting for him? Are we going to be looking at a show from the perspective of a villain going against a good guy? It'll all be interesting, but based on this film, it gets me excited to see what this show has to offer next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. This Cinema Blend article said it's expected to premiere in January, so we don't gotta wait that long. This 8-episode series follows the origin story of the man who believes peace at all costs, so no matter how many people have to be killed. So that's cool. It's an origin story. James Gunn wrote every episode of Peacemaker, and he'll direct 5, including the premiere. I did not know that. That's perfect. That's perfect. They just finished shooting. Okay, on July 12th. So I took 131 days. So that's about 4.5 months. Am I if I'm doing that correctly? The other Peacemaker episodes will be directed by Jody Hill, Brad Anderson, and Rosemary Rodriguez. I don't know who they are. And that's talking about the cast. And James Gunn started writing the Peacemaker for fun during lockdown, and then they agreed to turn into a real thing. So I guess something positive came out of the pandemic or whatever, you know. And so that's what's up right there. So I'm looking forward to it. And again, like I said at the very beginning of this video, is that Warner Brothers, DC, whoever, if y'all listening, keep this same energy that y'all had with James Gunn and this Suicide Squad for the rest of your films. You know, let your talent do what they need to do, man, so we can get good entertainment like this, because I really did enjoy it. And